Hello, America and the world. Welcome to another episode of Life After Lockup. This is a program that is designed to show the community and the public a different side of the criminal justice system, a side that sometimes is hidden from the public, a side that shows that we are human, we do make mistakes, and sometimes we struggle just to get back up on our feet. Before I bring our next guest, I want to remind you of the things that Life Community is doing in the community of Paducah, Kentucky. Every first Monday, we have what we call the ex-offender support group, where ex-offenders come together and we encourage one another. We try to help to keep our heads above water, to help give us constructive information on how we can continue to be productive citizens. Every second and fourth Monday, we have what we call Teenese. It's a program designed for teenagers ages 13 to 17. We come in, we give them food, fun, and fellowship, and we also bring somebody in to help navigate them through their teenage years. This is every second and fourth Monday from 5 to 7. Every Tuesday at 11:30 and every Wednesday at 5:30, we have what we call the Lifesaver class. These are classes designed to help anyone that has any life-controlling issues. It could be drugs, alcohol, it could be unforgiveness, it could be hatred, low self-esteem, insecurities. These classes are designed to help you to overcome whatever has been overcoming you. These classes are all provided under Life Community, and we hold them at 523 North 12th Street, right here in Paducah, Kentucky. If you need any more information about these classes, you can call us at 270-575-3823. And I'm excited today. We have with us Brother Shon Holland. How you doing, man?
All right.
Good to have you with us today. And I'm excited about talking to you because I want people to kind of have an understanding of maybe how things can turn us as even from young people. And I kind of want to get a little information about your background. And first of all, do you feel like maybe where you came from or how you were raised or some of the experiences that happened as a child, do you feel like some of that influenced you to go to prison in the first place?
I can say that it could have had an impact in my life and led me down that path because I did grow up with a family with violence and alcohol and drugs involved in it, you know, and I've seen some things that as a kid that could lead you that way. When I say things, I mean like marijuana smoking and the drinking and stuff, and those were pretty much gateways to where I ended up.
Okay, and we always know that those things are not necessarily excuses in a sense, but they could, like you said, they could be gateways
right.
to leading us down a path of basically self-destruction.
Right.
Now, when you first went in, because you did three terms in prison,
right?
Right. Okay, so kind of explain how you end up going the first time.
Well, the first time I was basically I was running with the wrong crowd.
Okay.
You know, I called myself a leader, but at the time I was a follower, and I was with a friend, and we was in Mayfield, Kentucky, and we got pulled over. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. He was the juvenile, I was 18. They found dope, guns, and they found a machete in the car, and then they found the drug scales with dope on it. And even though he was the driver and he was a minor, I mean, it was his car and everything, and it was, majority of the stuff in it was his. I had a few stones on me too, so that's how I caught my charge, my first charge, and I got 5 years for it.
You got 5 years for that?
Yes.
So what was the charge, possession?
Possession of marijuana.
Wow.
I mean, possession of marijuana and possession of a controlled substance, which was crack cocaine.
Okay, so how much time did you do in that 5 years?
3 years.
Yeah,
I served it out.
Okay.
38 months, actually.
Okay, and you got out of that?
I got out of that in 2004. I served that out, came back to Paducah, and I don't think I waited 2 days before I was back at it. I was back at it. I seen my old friends, old playground. I seen the things that they had and the things that was going on, how they was moving, and I felt I had to get back to it.
Oh man! So the 3 years that you did, how old were you?
18 when I went in. I was 20. I was 21 when I came home. Almost 22.
Wow. So did the 3 years you don't feel like it did too much of anything?
It gave me more education than anything.
Wow.
you know, because I was locked up with other brothers who had drug charges, you know, and hearing their stories, I thought that the things that I did to get caught up, you know, I can get around that now because they showed me some things, and then I know what I went through, and I know what people was also going through out there as I was in there. So I figured if I don't make those mistakes, I can go back out there and do the same thing again.
Got you.
I thought I was smarter than the people who was actually out there going through with these guys who was still out there.
Wow. So you stayed out 90?
Well, the first time I got out in 04, I was out 2 months, and I caught a charge in Illinois, possession of marijuana, which I got 4 years probation for that.
4 years probation?
Probation.
Okay.
And then 6 months after that, that's when I caught another charge in McCracken County in the projects in Anderson Courts. And I got 7 years for that. It was for possession of marijuana, trafficking in a controlled substance, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, and I ended up getting 7 years for that.
God almighty. So how much time did you do on that one?
I served 29 months on that one.
Okay.
29 months, then I came home. Okay. And once again, I figured that if I didn't carry a gun, and if I didn't hang with these people, and if I stayed away from these people, that I can do it. And the day I came home, I hit the ground.
Wow.
The day I came home, within 96 days, I was arrested again.
Wow.
You know, trafficking in marijuana, trafficking in a controlled substance with no handgun.
Okay. Yeah. So you left out the handgun, but you did all the other things.
Right.
Wow. Let me ask you this now, because so that's three times.
Right.
Okay. What was prison life like for you that gave you that, I guess, that nonchalant kind of attitude?
Prison was, I don't think it was prison. I think I had the type of attitude I didn't care. I just didn't care. And in prison, I was around people my age who was doing the same things I was doing, thought the same ways that I thought. So it was more or less that was just a vacation. That was college, my college.
Wow.
You know, I was there to get educated on how to come back out here and do it again.
Wow.
So I thought more of that as not a punishment, but as a place to get rest, to get re-educated, you know what I'm saying, to get smarter.
Wow. So it wasn't really like what you would consider hard in a sense?
No, I mean, in Kentucky, I don't think there's nothing hard about the penitentiaries. I mean, you got PlayStations, you got things to occupy your mind, you got TVs in your room, you're allowed to have your some personal items like as clothing and stuff like that, gym shoes and stuff. So it was more of a vacation. I was in a prison minus the females. I mean, because when I was in there, I mean, if I wanted to get high, smoke some weed or whatever, that was available for me. I mean, so it was.
So it wasn't really like a real genuine punishment.
Right.
Okay.
I couldn't see that punishment. And
I see what you're saying.
I couldn't see I guess when you have the attitude that you don't care, don't nothing really faze you at that time. I was young. And like I said, everybody that I was locked up with, they thought like I thought. You know, we all pretty much moved the same way, and I just felt comfortable.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so here's the ultimate question. So you've done 3 bits.
Right.
Okay, and now this is when you get out and you stay out for 96 days after the third one.
No, after the second one.
After the second one.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So this last time that you was in, how much time did you do on that one?
4 years and 9 months.
Okay, so what made this last time different than the other time?
I guess I got older. Not only did I get older, I got tired.
Okay.
I got to praying more.
Okay.
I got to meet, God put people in my life that sow seeds.
Okay.
And he started revealing myself, my true self, through other people.
Okay.
The things that I used to enjoy doing, I would see them doing it and get so angry, but he would allow me to see that was me.
Oh, wow.
So I just started seeing me, and I started looking back over my life, and then I started realizing that I was destroying myself.
Right.
That everything that I went through was a choice that I made, and that was a hard pill to swallow. And I kept praying, and he kept revealing things to me. And I had I had a fiance out here.
Okay.
That was another big factor. I had someone who cared about me, who was still there and was willing to wait on me.
Wow.
Then I got to thinking about, I got children.
Okay.
And all the time I've taken from them by being selfish and only caring about Shon.
Right.
And all that played a factor in me wanting to change. I couldn't continue to live like that.
Wow.
I mean, I spent all my 20s in prison, majority of my 30s, all of my 30s until I came home, you know, and I was just tired.
Wow.
It was time to say it's enough. And like I said, God just kept talking to me, and he kept putting people around me that was planting seeds, you know. They'll be there for a minute and then they leave, you know, and then somebody else will always come back. And it was, no matter, every time I try to go that way, he always had somebody there to push me back over. And eventually I started starting to get it a little bit at a time. And I'm still getting it. I haven't got there, but that's how it started for me.
Right, that's good. Because I've often wondered, and I think a lot of people that might be watching the program wonder sometimes, how can people go and get out and come back? Now, for me, I went one time. I did 3 years, a couple of months, and I was done. Right. And like you said, some of the things that made me want to change, being married, being a father, you know, having children, thinking about consequences and things of that nature, it made me want to change. So would you agree that a person has to want to change before they...
You gotta want it.
Yeah.
You gotta want it. I mean, it's like when I was in prison, they had all types of programs, and people will go to it just for the credit or just to get home. If you don't want it, it's never going. And that was my problem. I never wanted help when I was going back to prison.
Right.
I never wanted your advice. I knew it all.
Right.
I did, you know. So that was the problem. I didn't want to go in there and get fixed. Right. It was nothing wrong with me.
Oh, okay.
It was the justice system. It was the police.
Right.
It was the people out here hating on me. It wasn't me. I was too smart for that.
Wow.
I was too wise.
Wow.
You know.
Man.
That's why it didn't bother me to go to prison, because I'm gonna come back smarter this time.
Wow.
Like I said, it was an educational group. At least I thought it was.
Right, right. And I like what you're saying. You were basically looking at the system and looking at the haters,
right,
and rather than looking at you. Then when you start looking at you, when God started showing you, that's what made you start, okay, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And then another thing he would do, he would put people around me that would let me know my faults.
Okay.
And I kept hearing it so much that it had to be me.
Okay.
Because I know that I started putting it together. This man didn't know that man, and that man didn't know this man, and that man, but they all saying the same thing when they meet me. So they seen this stuff, these qualities, and these characteristics in me that I couldn't see. But through them letting me know this, my eyes was open to it.
Good.
And it was painful, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's very painful when you start looking at you.
Exactly, and that's what I tell people a lot of time in our Lifesaver class. That's one of the biggest things that we have to do. The biggest hurdles that we have to make is self-examination. Yeah. Take a look at the man in the mirror. Okay, so this time you've done, what, 4 years and 9 months. 9 months, and you get out.
Get out.
Your mind is made up now, this time to stay out.
And stay out.
Okay,
Let's
so
stay out.
Now, and you've been out now for how long?
I've been out 2 years now.
2 years now.
2 years.
Okay, so kind of give us a little bit of understanding of how it was when you first got out, because your mind's made up. Oh, yeah. Was everything clicking in place for you?
No.
Yeah.
No. I came home, I was determined to do the right thing. I had great intentions, you know. I had in my mind that it was gonna be no problems. I'm a provider. I was telling my fiance at the time that we gonna be all right. I'm gonna take care of this, take care of that. In my mind, I was stuck in 2008. Okay. But it's 2013. Right. Things have changed. So I get out here and the struggle is totally different. Yes. Everything out here is it's a whole nother world. Right. I feel like a stranger when I got there. I mean, I couldn't get nothing going for me, couldn't get a job. I mean, it was one struggle after another, you know, and it was hell, man. Right. It was hell. That. I mean, it was points that, even though I swore I wouldn't, it was times that I even went back to picking up the sack. You know, when I say the sack, I mean marijuana. Right, you know, because I thought
That was the way.
That was the way. I mean, this ain't working for me, but I know that I can make it work here, and that wouldn't even work. I mean, that led me to a home invasion, you know, and
wow.
And that right there was my true turning point.
Right.
That right there was when I said, I'm done, and I hear you.
Right. Now you said home invasion, somebody actually broke into your house?
Yeah, October of last year, me, my wife, and her son went through a home invasion. Someone came in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was woke up getting smacked in the face with pistols.
Wow.
Well, with a pistol. And, you know, I watched the guy put a pistol to my wife's head a few times. I watched him drag her out of bed. I watched my son go through the same thing, you know, and the whole time I'm getting beat with a pistol, you know. And when we got him out the house, when I got him out the house, I say me and God.
Right, right.
But when he got out that house, and I went back in and I seen that she was safe and he was safe.
Right.
That was it for me.
Wow.
I mean, because that was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. It robbed me of my security.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, that was my blessing.
Right.
That was my blessing, because I was spared. I was spared when I could have been killed. I mean, I look at it like this. God has blessed me time and time and time again. When I went to prison this time, when they sentenced me, the first offer they gave me was 20 years to life. 20 to life. 20 to life. That was a blessing in itself when they came back with 15, 20%.
Wow, yeah, it was a blessing.
You know, the guys that sat next to me, what they offered them is what they ended up with. But that was a blessing, you know, and then I came out here, and when he seen me making that choice again, he loved me enough to say, I'm gonna send this danger your way. To show you how. To show you. And I'm gonna allow you to survive this. Because he knew that my eyes would be open. Right. You know.
So that home invasion basically gave you the final closure on your past life.
Oh yeah, I mean, because my prayer was to take any and everybody out of my life that doesn't need me there. That night, they disappeared, all of them. Wow. I can't explain it to you. I mean, it would take a long time to explain it. But the men that I once hung with, that I was close with, that I would have died for, they was out that night. Wow. Within 24 hours, they was all out of my life. And it's amazing to me that just through that, what they meant for evil, he meant for good, because I went through a little struggle after that, but man, praise Jesus.
I hear you. I hear you. And now the thing that after that, things started kind of turning for you a little bit.
Well, no, I went through a lot after that. I mean, things. You know, I had just been married the 11th of that month, and a week later we went through the home invasion, and it just got worse. I still couldn't get a job. I was driving a cab, you know, staying out all night long doing that, you know. And it just got worse. I just couldn't find work, and then just one day, let me get this right. One day I was doing something, I needed a check stub from back a few months back, so I called Wise Staffing, and they told me they had a job for minimum wage. I told them, I don't care what it is, I'll take it. So I get out there, and it's just like my blessings started that day, January 8th. Wow. I get there, the job that I initially went in for, they had given it to somebody else, and while I was standing there, it was 3 other guys in there looking for a job. The lady comes out and she said, has Cornell come in yet? And the lady said, he just walked in. She said, well, good, send him in. She ended up sending me to Dippin' Dots and sanitation department at night, and that was a blessing because it started out at $9 an hour. Wow. And like I said, that's when my life changed, and I was there maybe a month, and then they gave me a $2 raise to $11 an hour, you know? Man. So, I mean, it was just blessing after blessing, and the next thing I know, I was blessed with a home. I can't explain it. I went into a bank, no credit whatsoever, no bad credit. I just have no credit at all. And they told me they was gonna help me get my credit started, gave me the money for the down payment on my house, and Then I just kept working, I mean, things were getting better, but I was also still going through things. You know, it wasn't just life is good.
Right.
I was still going through things, but as I went through these things, I've learned that as long as I just keep on having faith and just keep pushing, no matter how it looks right now, it's going to be better on the other side. I just can't give up. You know, I had a lot of great people that tell me, that just kept telling me that, and I don't need nobody to tell me that no more because I know. I've experienced it. I'm going through it. I'm living it right now. I mean, it's amazing. It
is, and I remember because I can relate so much to that, because the first year that I got out, things were happening as far as blessings were concerned, but I was still struggling. There was still a lot of other struggles that were inside and that were coming from different places, but God was opening doors for me. So even after you, now this was this past January, right? When you got the job thing.
And actually, I was sitting there talking to you. The day before, and you told me don't give up.
Don't give up.
I was ready to give up then. I mean, I was tired. I didn't have no answers, and you told me don't give up, and that was on the 7th, and on the 8th.
You went there and things just started turning around.
It just turned around. He turned it around. I mean, like I said, it struggles along the way. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm stronger now. You know, I know who's walking with me now. And that's the comforting part of it.
That's good.
And you know, here's the blessing of it all. I ain't sell no drugs to get none of it.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
that's what I'm saying.
It was a blessing. You know.
Right.
And I'm not trying to toot no horn. I know it's because I finally opened my eyes. He finally allowed me to
open your eyes. And that's the good thing about a lot of things, because I did a lot of crazy, wild stuff to get things. But then once I started trusting God, it's like He just started blessing. And so here you are. You got your home, and you just bought a real nice vehicle, man. I mean, you know, and it's like, look at God is just really blessing. Things are just happening for you that you probably didn't think could happen as quick as it happened.
I never imagined. I'm still floored. I'm telling you, it tears me up, man. I mean, because if I wish that I knew what I know now then. You know, I would have always went this way. And it's not because of what He's given me, but it's the feeling of joy, the peace that I have. I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore. I don't have to run and hide this and hide that. I don't have to carry a gun no more. I don't have to be out here and fear nobody out here.
Man.
I mean,
it's a whole different life. It's a whole different life.
It's a whole different life, man.
Yes, sir.
And
but you know, one of the things that like what you said, if you had known then and what you know now, you know, God knows what it takes for each of us. Because when you wasn't really wanting to listen, you know, you had to go through some things to learn to listen. To Him.
Exactly.
You know, and so now that you listen to Him, it's like, man, that's the best way to go. Even when stuff happens, because you going through some things, you know, even now. You know, but on the other hand, God is still blessing. So he kind of balances our lives. You know, He makes it. There's some things that you see as God. There's other things you see the enemy coming in trying to deter you. So now if you had a young man. Maybe somebody in jail that may be watching this program right now. What kind of advice would you give a young man or a young woman that could be watching about the prison system or about life, about selling drugs or doing whatever? What kind of advice would you give them? That's maybe somebody gave you that you may not have listened to, but it's still good advice.
The best advice I can give them is, I can try to save them some time by letting them know it's never gonna work. It's two ways this thing gonna end up. You're either gonna end up in prison, separated, might as well say dead, or you're gonna end up in the ground dead. I mean, no matter how you think you got this thing figured out, they are one move ahead of you. And the Bible says that a Saul returns to his murder. Let me get this right. Basically what I'm trying to say is a fool gonna keep on doing the same foolish things.
Yeah.
And unless you come to terms with that you're your own worst enemy, you're gonna always return to that bed.
Right, right.
You gotta understand that every choice that you make, there's a consequence behind it, whether it's good or bad.
Wow. That's good.
And that no one does anything to you that you don't allow them to do. If you're not in the picture, you can't be framed.
Wow, that's good.
You know, so
that's good.
My best advice is to listen to your parents, listen to your uncles, your aunties, the old man that you think's a fool. Listen to them, because those are not the fools. The fool is the one who's saying they are the fool.
Wow. Wow.
And just pay attention to everything, because everything that goes on around you is a lesson in life. I'm learning that, everything. Yeah. You have to pay attention, open your eyes, and most importantly, just pray.
Yes, that's good. Now, because one of the things that I've learned is that people don't get to be old being crazy.
Exactly.
Some kind of way they got to be old using some wisdom. Wisdom. You know, and wisdom that they try to pass on to us. But like you said earlier, sometimes we think we know it all. Yeah. You know, and can't nobody tell us nothing because we got all the answers. Right. But there's places for people like us that don't want to listen.
Oh yeah, and man, I don't never want to go there again.
No, me neither.
Never. I mean, I thank God that my eyes are open now. Never.
Wow. Man, listen, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing with us, and I know your story is going to help out a lot of people. God bless you, man. Thank you, and you just keep on doing what you're doing. Thank you. Because you're doing a good job. God is blessing you, man. Thank you so much for watching another program of Life After Lockup. God bless you, and you have a marvelous day.